Hi everyone, this is Fikayo of fikidao.com, and today we're going to be learning how to make page layout with CSS. Before, long ago, web designers had to resort to using tables to lay out their pages, but now CSS provides a cool and awesome way to lay out our pages with very limited amount of code and with much more flexibility. So I have here opened in Aptana Studio layout.html, and if you look into the body, you see I have 4 divs here. We have a div with an ID of header. Then immediately after it, we have another div with an ID of left. Then another div with an ID of right. Then the last div with an ID of footer. First of all, what we're going to be doing is making a 2-column layout. A 2-column layout. We're going to be having a right hand corner and a left hand corner. We're going to be having a header and a footer. Then after that, we're going to look at how we can extend this technique and use it in creating a 3-column layout. Very simple. Now I'm going to be using document level CSS for this so that you can see everything on just on one page. So I'm going to my head, putting my style tag, style type, equals text CSS. Go down and close that. Good. Now I'm going to pick my first div. That's a div which has an ID of header. That's going to be my header. Going to set a height of let's do 100 pixels. 100 pixels. And a background color of let's say red. A color of red. Then just switch to my browser. I already have layout.html open here, so I just refresh the page, and yeah, that's my header. So we have the header there. Go back to Aptana Studio. Then this is where the action really starts. Now I select my left div. Now the first property you have to be aware of here is the float property. We're going to be floating this div to the left. So the first thing that should come to your mind is float left. You float the div to the left. After floating the div to the left, the second and very important thing is to define a width for the div. This can either be defined in pixels or in percentages. I'm just going to go with pixels, so I'll just give this a width of 200 pixels. Then so that we can see it even without any content, because all we're just concerned here is just bringing out the layout. I'll give it a height of 300 pixels. I think I should just make that 400. Yeah, 400 pixels. Then I'm done. Okay, let me give it a background color so to be visible. Background color of green. Background color of green. So I switch to my browser, refresh the page, and I have my left column. Let's just increase the width a little bit. That looks a bit small. Let's say 250. Let's see 250. 250 looks okay. So the next thing I'm going to be working on is my right div. So right. Now I'm going to be floating this to the right. The left div floated to the left, the right div floated to the right. Now if you don't actually state this property for the other div that's float right, the other div automatically goes to the right, but browsers like Internet Explorer don't recognize that. So for you to be safe, just float the other div to the right so that you take care of any bugs that might just pop up in Internet Explorer. So float that to the right. Again, we need to define a width for it. Width, let's say, can just tell it to pick up the remaining space. So let's try 700 pixels. This would have been a lot easier if we're using percentages. 700 pixels. Let's give it a background color. Background color of let's make this yellow. Then let's also give it a height so that we can also be able to see it even without content. Let's give it the same height, 400 pixels, same as the left div. So done with that, go to our browser, preview it, and yeah, we have our right column. But as we can see, we have an extra white space here, meaning that our 700 pixels is actually not enough. So I'll just come here, let's add more, let's say 1000. Let's see whether that works. 1000 still didn't cover the whole thing. Let's say 1100. Go back and check that. Oh, that's too much. Now this actually a point where you have to be very careful with the width you define. It actually has to, they actually have to share this width in a way that it doesn't overflow. You can't chew more than you have. So let's just leave that at 1000. Let at 1000. If we view it again, now this extra white space could just cater for any spacing you want to be between the two divs. And if you're a sucker for perfection, you can just put 50 pixels here and so just narrow, further narrow the space. So you have that there. An example of this with percentages is can just come here and give this guy a width of, let's say, 30%. We're telling it take up 30% of the space, and easily we know that what we have here would be 70%. 70%. And once we come to a browser, it's sharp, very sharp. 30% actually looks too much. Let's say 25, yeah, 25% is okay. Then let's give this 75. Yeah, then come back here, preview it. Yeah, we have a nice layout coming up already. Good. Now the last thing we're going the last thing in this two column layout, actually we're going to be using the footer, and the footer is not so different from the header. Just select it, footer, just give it a height. You can actually set this height to auto if you want it to increase based on the amount of content. And remember to always put paddings and margins, but be very careful with paddings and margins. When paddings and margins actually adds up to the space, it adds up to the width, it adds to the width, and it adds to the height. So you have to take that into consideration when you are defining the values for width and height. So let's just give this a height of 80. Then the background color, these background colors are just meant for us to see the area covered by these divs. Just give the background color of black. Go to our browser, preview that. Seem to be having a little problem here. It's not coming up. Let's go back here. Height, hope I spelled everything correctly. Height 80 pixels. Okay. Yeah, now very important, when you have a set of divs floated, for example, I floated this to the left and I floated this to the right, immediately after you have to put a div, then set a style property of clear, set the style property of this clear property of that div to both. That's very, very important. It clears all your floats so that things won't just keep floating all around. So you clear it before the footer. We clear the floats, since it's the right and the left divs that were floated. We clear the floats before the footer. Good. So let's just go back to our browser and preview. Good, we have our footer. So as you can see, very nice, very beautiful. Our header red, our left portion green, yellow, black. This is a cool 2-column layout. You can put your name here, you can put some of your breadcrumbs around here, you can put some of your side links here, your main links here, you can put your copyright information and everything on your footer. Very, very beautiful. So that is a 2-column layout. If you set the height to auto, it becomes a liquid layout so that everything expands based on the amount of content you put in. Good. Now let's try and create a 3-column layout. This, as you can see, is a 2-column layout. What we have, what if we want to have one div here, another div at the middle, then one at the right. Let's see how we can do that. But before that, let's, for example, sometimes in your work you might not actually want this smaller div to be here. You want it to be at the right. Very, very easy way to do that. You just go to your code and change the weights. Let's, instead of 25 now, we give this 75, and this instead of 75 we give it 25. Save it, go to our browser, I see automatically your wish is granted. Good. And let's go to that. Let's just change what we did and go back to what we have before. Now we're going to be trying to create a 3-column layout. So what I'm going to do quickly is that in between the left and the right div, I'm going to put another div, give it an ID of middle, close it, close the div, and just add a little commenting. Very, very important. And middle, fix that error here. Good. And middle. So what I'm going to do is go back to my CSS, select my middle div, go down. Now I floated the left div to the left. That's exactly the same side I'm going to float the middle div to. So we just say float left for the middle div. Then I also set a width for it. Now I have to go back to calculating my width. Let's say I give this a width of 20. I actually want my middle div to be larger, so I give this 60. 20 plus 60 gives me 80, so I'm only left with 20%. Good. So just background color, copy this and just change it. Save time. Background color of just give it a, no, I want to use white. Let's say tan. Yeah, let's just say tan. So yeah, I have that, and I can go to my browser, preview it, and there we have it, a 3-column layout. My tan background is actually not showing, so let me just try and give it another obvious color. Let's say blue. Yeah, blue. Come back here, refresh the page. Blue is not coming up, not having a blue color. Check float, background color. Let me try and see the problem. Yeah, sorry guys, the problem actually was that we didn't remember to set a height property for this. So the spacing is taking effect since this pixel space is occupied, but since we didn't define a height and there's no content within the div, we can't see what is there. So we just give it the same height, 400 pixel. Background color remains blue, and go back to our page, refresh that, and yeah, there we have it. Cool, lovely 3-column layout. You have your header, your left div, your middle div, your right div, and your footer. You can adjust this thing as you can play with this a lot. You can adjust the width, you can play with the heights, you can do a whole lot of things with this. But the cool thing is that we've been able to create a wonderful 2-column and 3-column layout with CSS without using tables at all, and it looks so cool. So go out there, play with this, create cool web pages, and good luck.